Sports Blitz Live is on the air with full coverage of the Auburn Tigers,
Touchdown Auburn!
the Alabama Crimson Tide,
Off to the inside, intercepted Alabama. Touchdown run!
and everything college and high school sports. Now, let's join Andy, Brett, Randy, and Luke for this edition of Sports Blitz Live.
Nice fit where?
Central Phoenix City. There we go.
Maybe so.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. We're glad that you joined us here on the show. It's pretty nasty outside. I got a pheasant shoot in about 6 hours or 5 hours or whatever time it is. Hope this thing gets out of here. But anyway, you know, the way those things are set up, you gotta go get it anyway. Doesn't matter if it's raining or not, but hopefully it'll get out of here. But it's been a flood the last several hours throughout Alabama and Georgia and everything else. Maybe this stuff will get on out of here. But we are glad that you are waking up with us at 7 o'clock on a Saturday morning, the ones that you are braving that. You know, some of you catch us later on as you get up and move around. But always doing this show here on Saturdays and a lot to discuss, you know, believe it or not, as we're in basketball season. But really the focus, you know, the college football playoffs. Now we know who the national championship game is, and we're definitely going to talk a lot about that. The transfer portal, kind of where everybody is right now. I think probably college football is in more disarray than it's ever been as far as all this moving around. And I think we're seeing more discontent with college athletics than we've seen. Now, I think a lot of people have been sitting in the back hoping that it would correct itself, but it only continues to get worse. And so now you're starting to see more and more people become vocal and more people become frustrated. And that means I'm hoping that you're getting somewhere toward some type of resolution, solution, or something to better this sport, because the way it is right now, it's about intolerable, and it's really turning people off of the sport. And when you start turning people off and people start going, well, I'm going to find something better to do with my time because I'm not passionate about it anymore, then things will change. That's what happens in this world. You have to make change when things go south. So we got a lot to talk about, but, you know, here in this first hour, we talk a lot about, you know, the world and the scope of high school. And man, in 13 days, there's going to be a major decision made about the reclassification of athletics here and what all that involves. And I'm hearing all kind of things. It's all over the map of how, you know, the private schools may be gone. The private schools may stay based on these conditions. And these stipulations, they may do some different things with the classifications and the organization of those. I don't think anybody really knows right now, but it's going to be interesting in 13 days. I can tell you that.
Well, one thing's for sure, and that is that the discussions that have been talked about for a very long time are being had right now, Brett, and you can like or dislike the angle on some, but I think some change has been needed for quite some time. But let me start with the privates and the publics. One, you and I had a very long talk about this recently. I have a hard time believing that your top 8 to 10 private schools that have been in the HSA are just going to say, I'm good with going back to the Independent School Association. And it could be under the HSA umbrella. I don't know exactly how that would be set up, but let's talk about that a bit, Brett, because I think that's where the storyline begins is if you take all of those private schools out of the state. How many of them are there, Brett? Are there like 60?
60 something, yeah.
You know, you've got a wide majority of those are 2, 3, and 4A schools. There may be a bunch of 1A schools that I don't know about, but I think the majority are in those middle classifications. Really the 3A range is where you see some of your better private schools. You know, of course, like they always did, they could have an outstanding setup. It could be a lot of fun. You could have what did they have back in the day? You're going to have to talk with me. I know that you kept up with it a little better than I do, but I think they had 3 classifications.
Yeah, they had AISA had 3 classes. Yeah,
and so you've got your larger schools, your mid-range, and then your lower, and that would probably be the exact same setup they would go back to. But I think all of that's a mute issue, Brett. If the top 8 or 10 that have been over with HSA for a long time don't want to go back and do that, do you agree? Because I think that's where it starts and stops. Of course, everybody's trying to play the leverage points that they have, Brett, but I don't know at the end of the day that I feel really strong that the private schools are going to separate. I don't think that'll happen.
Yeah, I really don't know. I mean, I really don't have a gauge on it. Like I was told last night by a pretty reliable source that they were gone, and that they had been, just hit an impasse. And I've just heard so many different scenarios in what's going on. And if they were to get out, what does that structure look like for the HSA moving forward with the classifications? Do you go back to 6 classifications? I heard that scenario last night where you eliminate, the 7A classification. I've also heard the splitting of classifications where, let's just take a round number and say 60 in any particular classification, and you do a 6A and a 6B. I don't know what they'd call it. I hadn't been in any of the conversations. I'm just food for fodder here. You can play whoever you want to in the regular season, like always, but when it comes to playoff times, the 30 grouping that you're in is who you'll compete against in the playoffs. Now, why would you do that? Here's the reason why you would consider doing something like that. It's because you're trying to figure out how to shorten the gap of discrepancy from the top of a class to the bottom. And some of the classes have a bigger discrepancy than others.
3 of them, really.
Yes, you have the top 2, 7 and 6, and then the bottom at 1. I mean, and if you're saying, well, why has 1 got a discrepancy? Well, let's just say the smallest 1A school's got 20 kids and the top one has 70. I'm just throwing that out there. Well, in the scheme of things, that's a massive number, man. Like if you ain't
200% is the number in 1A.
Yeah, so you're talking about, and that's boys and girls. So if you're referring to football, that 20 numbers, that's 20 students. Like, and if you're trying to put a football program, I'm just being hypothetical here, everybody. So don't get all panicky and stuff. I'm just using some scenarios to kind of make it, where you can kind of see where this is going. Now, if you got 20 and you compete with 70, well, now if you cut that in half and it's 40, right, and 20, it's a little bit more manageable, isn't it? Because in 1A, you can take one player, a really stud quarterback or something, and really make a difference. But my point is you're trying to close the gap in the top of the classification versus the bottom and give the bottom portion an opportunity to legitimately have a shot. I'm not saying that somebody at the bottom of classification can't win a state title. Benjamin Russell was 2 games away from doing that this year in 6A. But on a year in and year out basis, it's not possible.
Not going to happen.
No.
It doesn't happen. And thank the Lord for 7A, because here's the numbers. 7A is 100%. The top of the classification to the bottom is 100%. The top of the classification, 2,200 students at Auburn and Hoover, down to 1,100 students or so at the bottom of 7A. 6A is 80%. The top half, 1,050 to 1,100 in 6A, all the way down to about 600. So there's an 80% difference there. Now, 5A, 4A, and 3A. 5A is like 40 to 50%. 3A and 2A is our best options. They're right around 30%. And then you get to 1A, it's 200% difference between top and bottom. Think back in the day, before the 7A classification. You and I lived in an area, we lived in a town that was always playing a 200% difference. I mean, we were sitting at 700, expected to play against 2,200 enrollment schools.
Yep.
And getting upset with one another when we lost out in the 3rd round. I mean, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
that's probably not the best setup. So at least there have been some changes that have been made over the years, but But you throw the private school dynamic in on the mix is where it gets really confusing, Brett, because when you and I were coming through school, there were a few private schools, but really none. You know, I don't think Briarwood really jumped into the HSA until the late 90s, if memory serves me correct. I may be off by 4 or 5 years there, but I'm throwing a couple of teams that I know that jumped in earlier than others. The UMS Wrights, the St. Paul's, the McGill-Tulans, keep going. That, you know, a lot of them even stayed with your Montgomery schools, stayed in AISA for quite some time. I mean, Lee Scott and Glenwood, who's
Just
two of
now,
our bigger ones on this side of the state, they're just now jumping in. So all of that's changed recently. So, you know, you could go back to the other setup, but I think it would be disappointing to see it split. If you did, though, and all the private schools went into one bucket again, I think that it's still a very competitive league and a fun league to compete in. The problem with that league has been so many moving out. You know, you don't have enough really good teams to compete against year in and year out. But, Brett, I mean, you and I could sit here and reel off 30 private schools here in the state of Alabama that are unbelievable in all sports, pretty much.
Yeah,
girls
right.
and boys side.
Right.
If you competed, and most of those schools we'd reel off are really close to the same size because they don't want to be in 6 and 7A. So they make sure, I don't know that that's how they maintain their enrollment, but they definitely don't want to jump up into those classifications from an athletic standpoint. So I don't have the answers. I'm kind of glad that it's being discussed. I hope there's some decisions that are made that can be sustained long term. That's the biggest problem, is when you're changing constantly, it feels like. And the ever-changing world of football in general, going to the college ranks and now to the high school. Just pick a set of rules and stick with them, but make sure that they're a set of rules that are tough enough on everyone that it holds everybody accountable. And right now, it doesn't feel that way top to bottom. Do you agree with that, Brett?
No,
it just doesn't.
It doesn't. I mean, we're going to talk a lot more about this as we move along. We're up against our first break here on the show. Again, we want to thank everybody for joining us each and every day. Take a break for TV, and we'll be back right after this.
Sportz Auto Sales, Highway 280 in Kellyton, Alabama, is home-owned and home-operated. If you're looking for tires, they have it. If you're looking for a vehicle, they have them. Great selection. Always out looking for more just for you, the customer. And if you're looking for service, whether you buy the vehicle from them or whether you buy the vehicle somewhere else, they do service work and got a great crew there. Keep us in mind. Why don't you go by Sportz Auto Sales on Highway 280 in Kellyton today.
Craving pizza done right? Come to Lake Martin Pizza, where flavor meets the lake, with 2 locations, 63 South in Alexander City and Highway 49 South in Dadeville. Grab a 14 or 18-inch specialty pizza or build your own masterpiece. Go half and half your way. In a hurry, stop in for our lunch specials. Hot, fresh pizza by the slice, served daily. We've got more than just pizza. Try our fresh salads, cheesy breadsticks, garlic knots, and sweet cinnamon twists. Lake days, game nights, or family dinners, Lake Martin Pizza hits the spot every time.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill and Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
Here at Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply, we value what truly makes a home. And that's why we're proud to offer America's #1 brand of siding and exterior products. James Hardie creates possibilities with an array of colors and textures. We offer the full line of James Hardie products, from Hardie plank to artisan siding and everything in between, giving you, our customer, options to have the best. Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply, local since 1984.
Ready for an unforgettable escape? Jump into adventure at Lake Martin, Alabama. From thrilling water sports to peaceful fishing spots, it's love at first bite every time you cast your line. Want more excitement? Catch an event with our vibrant festivals, concerts, and fishing tournaments all year long. And when the sun sets, dive downtown to discover local shops, delicious dining, and warm southern hospitality. Explore Lake Martin, where every moment is an adventure waiting to happen.
Zaxby's birthday cake milkshakes are back. Just in time for Zaxby's 35th birthday, so they're gifting you half-off handcrafted milkshakes. Happy birthday to us all. Zaxby's handcrafted milkshakes. Who's got the sauce?
Zaxby's. Bundle your home and auto and save money with State Farm's personal price plan. Contact State Farm agent Ron Carroll today at 256-378-6631 or visit him on Highway 280 in Childersburg. Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer availability. And eligibility may vary.
General.
People they need to understand, man. I mean, it's, you're competing. Here we go. Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Appreciate both of them so much. Talked to Kevin Keel a couple times this week, man. Always good to hear from him. Great business at Sunshine Heating and Air. I don't know that anybody has had a more successful business around these parts than him. And when you talk about successful businesses, you look at customer service, and in his world, that's extremely important. When you're in the middle of July and it's 800 degrees and your air goes out, boy, he and I had this discussion. He said, you see the real person when your air goes out in the middle of July, and you find out who's got a little bit of a short fuse and who doesn't. When people are hot and they're bothered, but again, customer service is top notch with Sunshine Heating and Air, and that's why you choose them for your next heating and air unit or repair, whatever you call them, Sunshine Heating and Air. So appreciate Kevin so very much, and big supporter of high school athletics and, both private and public schools. So, we look at this, these scenarios with the reclassification, and just kind of remind everybody this should have been done in December. And when you do it every 2 years, it's done in December. So you kind of prepare, but this thing was put on hold because there were some, basically the private schools were not happy with the current setup, and they're trying to figure out a compromise, I guess would be the correct word, and to figure out how they can stay part of the HSA. And then on the flip side, you got to go back and see why a majority of these private schools have drifted over to the HSA over the last however many years. It's because of the competition. And, I know some people personally, and you do too, that out of their mouth, they said, well, we want our student athletes to compete at the highest level, and they weren't getting that in the current setup that they were in. It's not a knock on AISA. I'm just telling everybody what they said and what their reasoning was behind, why they left. And so, are you going to go right back to that setup is the biggest question. And, because there was a lot of effort in making that move over, and it's been very good for a lot of schools. But, and I hear what you say about, well, you get 20 or 30 really, really good private schools and they can have a good league. I understand that too, but that's a very, very minute number. And then there's discrepancy in geography and where you got to travel to get all those. Those top 20 schools aren't all in the same area.
Great point.
So there's a lot. And that's another thing when it comes to these classifications that's been so difficult. It's when you're trying to break down regions, you're trying to group teams and schools together where travel's just not such a burden on schools because of cost and things. All this stuff comes into play because every time we've always tried to have meetings and have discussions about solutions, you go, well, man, do you really want a team from Dothan traveling to Huntsville? A couple of times a football season. I'm being extreme, but I'm just saying that that's not far off for some of these 7-8 schools because, and I know that you can't help the amount of schools in certain areas like that Wiregrass area. That's tough, man. You're really spread out in who you can go play against in your region. So there's no perfect solution to it, but I think it's going to be interesting on the 23rd. Whatever happens, it's going to be major change, I think, regardless.
Well, let's give the 3 or 4 reasons that you and I know the discussions are being had and why they started. And let's start with the private school and their issues with the current setup. And we can agree and disagree. That way we can, kind of set the basis of why we're going down this path. The private schools see what's going on in the public schools and the moving around. Let's be honest. Brett and I called a state championship game, and I won't say the team, several years back that had over 30 kids that had a different huddle account the year before. Is that fair to say, Brett?
Right.
All right, what that means is they were at a different high school the year before, and now they're in a big area where it's a very easy move and a really quick move. And if you want to partner up with the friends of yours that you grow up with, because all of these kids now in this transient society that we live in, there's nothing to go play on a travel team with kids 10 miles up the road in a certain area. You all know one another, and if you're competitive enough and your parents have you out there on the circuit, which most of these do, you're going to know who you want to partner up with and the families and the players that have played together before. And that's only going to get more and more as we get in these societies where you don't necessarily have to go to a factory every morning, and 8,000 employees here at Russell Corporation are all living in this community and not traveling outside of the Lake Martin area to find a job. Those days are gone. If you got an answer on how to fix that economically, then you deserve several $1 billion here in this state to figure that out. It's not an easy answer to find. So back to that, though, Brett, that has changed that entire dynamic that the private schools have the ability to go out there and recruit and the publics don't. Now, you can call it recruiting, you can call it whatever you want, but when you've got anywhere from 10 to 30 kids transferring into your school, and it may not be 10 to 30 in baseball, basketball, softball, but the equivalents are transferring into your school in each of those too. So by no means is this just a football deal. It's not at all.
Oh, no.
The private schools see this and they go, hold up. Y'all are making me play on the multiple, which means what is it, 1.35, Brett? Is that the current multiple that they're forced to play under? That means if you're really a 2A school, you're playing in the 3A classification.
That's usually what it does. You usually bump up one.
And so
competitive balance, that then you bump up again,
Well, and the competitive balance, and also there's a couple of things that I agree with the private schools today. One, the multiple, if you have, because I don't know how the AHSAA structures this to clean this up either. If it's a legitimate move, it's a legitimate move, Brett. How do you determine whether something's a legitimate move and it's not in this society? I'm going to throw a number out there that in Tallapoosa County and Elliott City alone, 60 to 70% of the population travels outside of the city to work. Is that fair?
I think so.
Okay, so what do you deem a legitimate move? Somebody that's already traveling to Montgomery to work, and then they move their family over there to send them to a high school in Montgomery. You don't think that's a legitimate move? The HSA can't. This is not my decisions to make, for one. Brett and I aren't in the room. We're just talking heads that love this sport. But I do see that. And so that multiplier probably does need to be looked at a little bit different than it was 20 years ago. Here's another thing. Competitive balance. If you've got a 5A school that wins 3 straight state championships, or a Jackson High School that wins 2 or 3 straight state championships in football,
and it's not really even close,
and they're running away with it outside of one private school here in the state that's giving them a little bit of a little competition, then you get what I'm saying. Why would the private schools have to keep?
And it's even worse in other sports, not just the football. Like there's volleyball and some of these sports, tennis, where some of these schools, and you've even named soccer off, where why wouldn't you move up? Why wouldn't you want your program to move up? You just sit down there and beat people's brains out.
And we're talking about the private schools already are moving up.
Right.
So your Montgomery Academy.
I'm saying for all. I'm not saying. I'm saying it doesn't matter what you are, if you're public or private. if you are that dominant in your classification in whatever particular sport, you should yearn for more competition and go, well, let's see what we can do a step up. And then you move up a step and you dominate that, you ought to move up another step. I mean,
Glenn, and I hear what you're saying, but I completely disagree, Glenn. And the reason I disagree with you, and I very seldom disagree with you, by the way, might be the first time actually, but the reason I disagree with you is these public schools are having move-ins too. Having your cake and eating it too is totally different than it was 20 years ago, where Brett and I grew up in Elliott City, Alabama, and whoever grew up in our community is who we had, unless Russell Corporation pulled somebody in randomly and they end up on our team. That is not the way this thing's played anymore. It may be played that way in some communities, but the ones that you and I call it the Super 7, that's not how it's played in those communities, Brett. It's not. And like it or dislike it, it's different. And it's getting more, and it has exploded in the last 5 years.
Right. Well,
is that safe to say?
Yeah, I've got some thoughts on that too. We got to get the break for TV. We come back, we'll keep this discussion going. And there's a lot of coaching changing going on in high school right now too.
Oh, yes.
A lot of jobs that have opened up. Some have been filled and some are still open. So, all right, stay tuned. More to come here on the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Lake Martin now has a global connection for the best in pre-owned vehicles. The all-new Global Auto Exchange is now open on Cherokee Road in Alex City next to Cazador's Restaurant and is excited to serve Lake Martin with the finest pre-owned car, truck, and SUV selection at the market's most competitive prices and most versatile finance options. Global Auto handpicks all their inventory, and with 4 lots in the region, they have a selection that won't be beat. Whether pre-owned luxury to affordable work truck, Global Auto has the vehicle for you. We reward good credit and can work with challenge credit to get you the ride you want. Visit the all-new Global Auto on Cherokee Road, Alex City for the best selection, pricing, and inventory.
Satterfield Outdoor Living is Lake Martin's trusted friend for your outdoor land and leisure needs. We're the region's authorized Skag mower dealer for residential and commercial lawns and offer all the small engine accessories you need with top lines of Steel, Echo, Shindawa, Husqvarna, and Metabo products that can tame any landscape. Satterfield is also your grill headquarters with Big Green Egg Grill, and our pros service everything in-house and back up all sales. Get the Satterfield Outdoor difference on Highway 280 right across from Tallapoosa Ford.
Hillaby Towers is an affordable senior citizens community located in Alexander City on Highway 22 East. Spacious one-bedrooms are available now. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today to find out more information on Alexander City's best-kept secret, 256-329-0552. That's Hillaby Towers in Alexander City.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
At Central Alabama Community College, we provide a quality education that will set you up for success. Whether you're pursuing a degree or advancing your career with technical training, TAC offers premier programs at 4 campuses in Alexander City, Childersburg, Prattville, and Talladega. From industrial, electronics to machining, our students are prepared for the workforce or further education. At CAC, you'll enjoy vibrant campus life, exciting athletics, and personalized support, all at an affordable price. Your future starts here at CAC. Apply today.
Visit our new locations in Gadsden and Oxford today.
Back at Welcome to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR's Sports Bar and Grill. And when I was getting ahead of myself, we're going to brag on JR Sports Bar and Grill because of, they've been with us for 20 plus years now, and they've been in Allen City for 27. That's hard to believe that their 2-year anniversary, their 25th anniversary was 2 years ago. And so time's flying, but the same great food, the same great people. Can't say enough about them, and they support so much. And it's the home for our Lake Martin Sports Roundup show. I'm there every Wednesday. Had a great show. Appreciate Wary Sexton and SNS Discount Tire, who's also been a longtime partner of ours, but steps up and sees the importance of that Lake Martin Sports Roundup show, the local part, and joins forces with us there as one of our main partners on that show. Had Wary on the show with me on Wednesday, so always glad to have him up there, and he is very passionate and done a lot. He's like JR's, and he's like Sunshine Heating and Air. Their companies and their businesses make it a priority to support the local schools and what it means to these schools. We appreciate all of them so very much. Going back to our discussion, and Glenn's bringing up good points, and you are too, Randy. I just think, again, it goes back to the location that you're in, that it's easier to do and pull off this stuff in these more dense populated areas like Montgomery, Birmingham, and Mobile. And you got a bunch of schools packed in there together, and literally a couple of streets can divide a school district. Mm-hmm. Okay. And if you got a coach, and we've all said this multiple times, if you got a really good football coach, a really good basketball coach, a really good softball coach, or whatever it is, and you're just, 3 miles as the crow flies from one school to the next, and they got a really good program, and the one that you're at is struggling. And your ambition is and you got a kid that, has got some talent, and you feel like they need to be coached up. You feel like, you want to compete for a championship, or you want to give your kid the best opportunity to get a college scholarship, or whatever you want to say, however you want to spin that.
Which is a business now, by the way.
That's right. So you make that 6-mile move over to that next school, and you may not even, do you move houses? You just go over a couple streets. It just is more convenient to say than say if you're on North Sand Mountain, moving to. So I'm just throwing hypothetical stuff.
No, you make great points, and that's part of the reason that I 1,000% agree with the rural communities that don't have access to doing that. They've got a beef with the overall deal. And Glenn, I read your comment right there, and the biggest thing. Let's just take a community like Ellick City. We don't have 15 high schools around us.
You got one school, and you're it. You're not competing against anybody.
If you have a coach move in like Kirk that was in the Montgomery region, and he's got players that want to make legitimate moves and stay with him, which, by the way, if my kid's 10th or 11th grader and I love his coach, and I'm living in one community and I'm playing a key role on a team that I know exactly what I'm going to get from that, I'm going to make a legitimate move, and I'm going to stick with him. And that's what happened there. Now, is that going to happen every year? I don't think it can. Not in communities like ours. So it may happen once every blue moon when a coach moves in with you and a couple want to follow, but you're not in. And I'm just going to bring up some names. I'm not saying that they're doing it, but you're not Gulf Shore, Saraland, Spanish Fort, Orange Beach, Foley. Keep going down the list of public schools. And then you've got 6 or 8 more. You got 6 or 8 more private schools that are winning state championships down there too. These families, they're going to find their way.
Well, I hate to say this. Well, I don't hate to say it. I don't know why, because I don't have a dog in the fight. But obviously, Foley is tired of losing, and they're in a district where they're looking around and everybody's successful, and they're not. So they go hire Brian Moore from Opelika, and they paid him a boatload of money. And I'm not going to get into specifics, but you said they're in an area where they should have resources no different than the ones around them that are building new schools and new facilities and stuff like that. And, they go, well, if they can attract them And if we're ever going to attract some of these better players, then we better step up our game.
Yep.
If not, we're going to continue to be who we are. And, that's to me one of the biggest examples, because you take a guy like Brian Moore who left Hartselle to go to Opelika, where he's a hometown guy, takes Opelika to a state title game, and then is coerced to leave a month later, to go be the new football coach at Foley. And again, we have seen all of this roll downhill from the college ranks. You're seeing coaches move. Yeah. You're seeing salaries increase. You're seeing communities go, we think this is massively important to our community and our school, and we want to be really good at it. So we're going to throw resources at it. We're going to throw, the money and the facilities and the things that we need to give our community a chance to compete at the highest level. That's really the brass tacks of all of it.
Well, you and I just toured the new Benjamin Russell High School yesterday. I'm proud in the community that you and I grew up in that the money's being thrown at that, and it's needed. But let's go to Foley. Brett and I, many moons ago, worked hand in hand with Don Staley, who I still think the world of. And Don, who was the city of Tuscaloosa's tourism and sports commissioner, moves down to Foley and and he's not the only one, but he was kind of the lead dog in putting that entire athletics complex together that has people all over the state traveling down to it week in and week out. I just passed it this past midweek this week, Brett. It's unbelievable what they built there. And they've got the tax basis. Now, I guess the next move is to go, okay, we've spent all this money on making this a haven for you to come to and to spend money and increase our tax basis. And people are moving there, and there's industry there, and there's manufacturing, and there's, more jobs coming to that area. You've got to throw the money at trying to put together a great product that can coerce the players to go, where do I want to go play? Well, one, I want to go play somewhere where I think the coach is as good a guy as I love Mark Freeman, so I'm going to use Mark. I'd like Mark Freeman to help raise my kids. Don't mean he's raising them, but they're with them all the time.
Well, you spend more time with your coaches than you do your own family most of the time.
So you're going to pick a guy that I just love that guy. I like what he stands for. He's a great Christian man. That's who I want my player with. Pat Nix, who just retired this week and is moving into the ministry, Brett. If you're over in the Phoenix City market and you're within a 10-mile radius, my gosh, how would I get my kid with that guy? Because that's who I want helping raise my kid. And the decisions are made around that. I think people think the decisions are a lot more nefarious than they really are. I think that they think that that communities, say like ours and others, have this big old pocket of money, like there's $1 million sitting over there in this big budget, and there's housing that's sitting over here beside the school, and there's all these families moving in, and everybody's getting a supplement to come and play for us. Dude, I'm telling you, if that's going on somewhere, I'm not saying it may not be going on at an outlier, but
I don't know why you would even do that, though.
I can't fathom. I'm almost 50 now. In my Mike Gundy voice, I can't fathom throwing my money at something like that. And I don't think. But if you're telling me that kids are bouncing around,
just so you can walk around and puff your chest out and say my high school's on top of the mountain, is that all you're getting for your return? Not to say that you don't support your school, but you're gonna go spend tens of thousands of dollars on people to come to your community for you to just have a little bragging rights. I'm sorry if you're doing. Well, I know we got to get to break. Let me get to break. We're behind, so we'll keep this conversation going. When we come back, stay tuned. More to come right after this.
You've dreamed about the perfect house, a place to call your own, and a place to not only stretch out, but to grow. Auto Owners protects your house because to you, it's home. That's simple human sense.
Happy to help, man. I was just over there talking to myself anyway.
There's only one option for top-of-the-line aftermarket upgrades on your vehicle, and that's Frontline Outfitters. We offer quality parts, lift kits, custom wheels and tires, bed covers, step bars, and toolboxes that are installed by trained and skilled professionals, to custom powder coating with hundreds of colors and finishes, to the highest quality film for window tinting using state-of-the-art film cutting technology. Call Frontline Outfitters at 256-409-8100. Don't be in the back of the line. Put your vehicle at the front with Frontline Outfitters.
I'm Joseph Dean with Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation in Dadeville. We are located at 16797 Highway 280, which is on the corner of 280 and 49 North. With an on-site crematory in Opelika and a cemetery in Tallapoosa County, we are a full-service funeral home. To get in touch with us, feel free to come by or call us, 256-750-0381. And for any other questions, you can visit the website at lakemartinfuneralhome.com.
With football here, Martin's at Lake Martin is ready with the lake's best place for sports, fun, and entertainment. With your favorite teams on over 20 big screens. And Martin's is now open 7 days a week. Monday, trivia night. Tuesday, open cornhole tournaments. Wednesday, free pool. Thursday, our huge bingo night with food trucks. And every Friday and Saturday, live entertainment with food trucks. Sunday, enjoy NFL ticket with hot dogs and chili. This football season, make the best game plan. Go to Martin's on 34 in Dadeville, where every hour is happy hour.
There's only one clear choice in the Lake Martin area for plumbing, heating, and air. That's All Clear Plumbing and Air. Our professionally trained technicians offer full-service repair and installation on all major brands, from drips to water heaters, thermostats to entire air conditioning and heating systems, and everything in between. Our fast, reliable, and guaranteed top-notch customer service will keep you informed and up to speed through the entire process. Call us today or look for us on Facebook and Instagram at All Clear Plumbing and Air, 256-496-2056. License number 19172.
Looking to transform your outdoor space? Look no further than Bama Sheds. As a family-owned and operated business, we understand your needs. That's why we offer no credit check, rent-to-own options. Enjoy free delivery and setup within 35 miles of our 4 convenient locations. Whether you need a shed, pole barn, garage, or carport, we've got you covered. Visit our website at bamasheds.com or call 256-268-8484. Bama Sheds, where quality meets affordability and your outdoor dreams become reality.
What Brett was, Brett loved Danny Horn. I know I'll say that.
Keep that thought going. We got to get back. Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Just got a couple more segments here before we get to hour number 2. Randy, I'll kick it back over to you.
Well, I was just giving a personal example of all of this. Brett and Coach Horn have always had a great relationship. And by the way, I read the article yesterday. I thought it was very well put on AL.com. And if Danny decides to retire, he's going to forever be the best I've seen on and off the field. And I've been around some great ones, but none any better than Danny Horn. But when Braden had a couple of years left and he was deciding to go back to Central Clay, Brett was, of course, oh, my gosh. Please, Coach, don't leave me while I got a couple of years left. Because you knew the point you were making is not that whoever was going to get the job was not going to do a good job. You don't think that way. But it's like, I know what I'm getting with you. And I think the world of what you do for kids. And I want my kid to be involved for a couple more years with you, and I'm going to call it a win if that happens. And I think more decisions are made around that than they are the other way around, because it's unfortunate, but there are a lot of programs out there that just don't put in the effort and don't have the leadership that others do, Brett. And when you're a part of one that is really going in the right direction and you're excelling, you don't want to leave that guy, do you? And it's easy to move with him.
It is. And for Danny, that he's a Hall of Fame coach, and you knew he was in the moment. And you don't get a chance. There's only so many guys that make it and women that make it to the Hall of Fame. I'm on the HSA Hall of Fame committee, and it's an honor to serve on that committee. And this past year's the class coming up, the one that we just selected, It's hard, man. I mean, there were probably, I don't know how many applications we went through, a bunch. And almost every one of them were deserving, but you can only pick so many every year in that class, and then there's some that come back around to be re-upped and they still don't get in. My point is there's only a very small amount of people that make it to the Hall of Fame. And you knew 10, 15 years ago that Danny Horn was going to be in the Hall of Fame. It was just a matter of time because of what he's accomplished. And yeah, if you got a child and you have the potential to have them coached by a guy or a woman that's in a female sport or whatever, that's going to go into the Hall of Fame. I mean, that's a very, very small opportunity for most people. Most people can't walk around and say, not only did I play that sport, but I was coached by a Hall of Famer, and I learned a lot from them. So yeah, that was my, disdain on when I got the phone call that day that he was leaving to go back. Selfishly, I was in a situation where I had a son that was coming through the program, and I would have loved for him to have played for him. I mean, that's it. But, I understood that he had to go do what he had to do and the situations, and you move on and you deal with it. So, but yeah, I think that's really the gist of it. There's just not a lot of them. I mean, the people up there in the northern part of Alabama love to have had, and have had their kid coached by Paul Benefield, we got a friend now in Kyle Rush that was coached by Jamie Riggs at T.R. Miller. And, Kyle and I've had multiple conversations about his time at T.R. Miller. And, I know the Cooks that live in Alex City now and their son and how much, they're from Bruton and, and talking about Jamie Riggs. I've never heard anybody say anything bad about Jamie Riggs, but these are Hall of Fame, like Coach Curtis at UMS served on the committee with him, and how well thought of he is everywhere, that we go, and he's just got a great personality, and how many people he's, touched, over the years, by him being the coach down there, and other coaches that have learned under him, I can just keep going, but those are I've only named 4 or 5, and there's just a very small amount they ever can say they ever played for somebody like that.
The biggest point I'm glad you're making, though, is I think those decisions far outweigh the decisions that other people think is the reason that kids bounce around. Now, of course, are there outlying deals that happen? Of course, but more families are having the discussions that you just talked about than others. I truly believe that. And when it's no different than college, when you get a great leader, you got to do everything in the world to keep them, because the odds of getting the next one, you hope you can keep landing great ones, but unfortunately it doesn't work out that way. I mean, there's a reason that some leaders are way more successful than others, and that's never going to change in this life. So Cindy, I think it's Ed asking, do you two believe boosters of universities help pay for big time athletes to stay in community? I don't know. I don't think, but look, I think the whole underground deal with recruiting that used to go on, I think it partially goes on now, Brett, but I'm not sure that it goes on to the level that it went on when you and I were growing up.
Right.
I mean, there was cash being handed when you and I grew up. I mean, I've got friends of mine that were given money both ways growing up, and you knew it was going on, and you saw the underbelly of it, and it smelled, but it was what it was. And if you were organized, I mean, we love to in this state say the Red Elephant Club was as well organized as you could organize anything, and it probably was, and that brings success. It doesn't mean that that's right or wrong, but you get what I'm saying. I mean, it was.
I don't think that right there is as important as it used to be. I don't think that has much bearing at all. Because these kids now, they don't have any loyalty, number one, to any of the schools.
No.
And number two, it's every year. It's year to year, man. And you better understand that you may think that guy's content and he's locked in. Malik Blockton is one of the last ones I'd have said would have transferred from Auburn, but he did. And his position coach stayed, his defense coordinator stayed. Nobody I thought was more of an Auburn guy in this day and age than Malik Blockton, but he got coerced to come to LSU. So that part right there, Ed, I think is probably deader than ever. Because I just think that every year they're going to reevaluate no matter how much they love the school. I think Cam Coleman loved Auburn. I think he still loves Auburn. But I think the market and his situation forced him to make the decision he's making. And, you know, you can't blame them because they're playing the game that's out there. So I just don't think the loyalty part and the moving to the community and all that matters, because they're going to reevaluate every single year and where they want to go. All right, we got to get to break. Stay tuned. One final segment coming up here in hour number 1.
It's here. Glenn Smith's closing out the year. Get massive savings on GMC Sierras and Terrains. New full-size GMC Sierras, almost $15,000 off. New GMC Terrain Elevations, as low as $289 per month. Or take advantage of 0% financing, plus no payments until April of next year. Now is the time for end-of-year savings at Glenn Smith GMC in Opelika. Get ready to smile.
Two Rivers Lumber Company has a proud heritage in the state of Alabama and is excited to announce we are opening a new facility in the Lake Martin area late 2025. Our company specializes in southern yellow pine dimension lumber, and we plan to employ over 150 in our new community of Lake Martin. Two Rivers Lumber Company is a family-run business with over 45 years of service to the state. And we are happy to become a part of the Lake Martin community and want to wish the best of luck to all area athletic teams in all competitions. Two Rivers Lumber, Lake Martin's newest community partner, coming soon.
Russell Medical Total Fitness is ready. Are you? Do you have arthritis? They can help. Pilates are for everyone. Ask them about the Silver Sneakers program. Get moving in a class now, or if you prefer, personal training on land and water are available. They have invested in new equipment for you. Invest in yourself with a dedicated and knowledgeable staff. Call today, 256-329-7623.
What makes Zaxby's Giant Chicken Finger Quesadilla so giant? Crispy fingers, sauce, and melty cheese. Zaxby's Giant Chicken Finger Quesadillas. Who's got the sauce?
Zaxby's. Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
Bundle your home and auto and save money with State Farm's personal price plan. Contact State Farm agent Ron Carroll today at 256-378-6631 or visit him on Highway 280 in Childersburg. Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer availability. Eligibility may vary.
If you listen carefully, you'll hear the roads of Alabama calling. And Sarah Honda has your answer. Serving you for over 40 years with one of the largest Honda and pre-owned inventories in the state and the Sarah Promise. Our best deal when you buy or trade, a 72-hour exchange policy, a no-hassle trade-in promise. Written offers are good for 7 days. And our best service promise. Our factory-certified technicians help keep your vehicle running smoothly. That's why Alabama can be yours to discover in a new vehicle from Sarah Honda in Sylacauga.
Saturday Sports Countdown, one final segment here in hour number 1. No, that point is very valid. I mean, again, it's not just football, it's basketball, it's baseball, it's softball, whatever. I mean, we've covered all these schools that have great programs and have great coaches.
Great leaders.
And they won't, look, man, you want your kid, if it's possible, to play for that person. Again, it overshadows the program. Now, if you got a coach that stayed there 25, 30 years, they are the program. They've made that program.
You follow the basketball.
Correct. Right.
Yeah.
Right. But at the end of the day, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, Kurt Johnson comes to Benjamin Russell, and you get several of these guys on his team, from his team at Catholic, to come to Alex City to follow him to play. It wasn't like it was some mass influx of people coming from Prattville, this mass influx of people coming from Birmingham, this mass influx of people coming from Mobile. These are guys that he had mentored and been around for a long time that decided, their family said, look, now I love that guy and I love this coaching, because the majority of the coaching staff came too. So it's where they were comfortable. And it's no shot on the guys that stayed at Catholic, but it's the relationship and the bond. And I watched it. I saw the Bedgoods, the relationship they have with the Johnsons. It goes way deeper than X's and O's on the football field. I mean, it's like those families are interconnected. You know, I think I'm not out of line saying that. I mean, that's how close they are, and so forth and so on. I mean, it becomes that way, you know, because and it would have mattered if Kurt would have gone to wherever. I think they would have still found that. But my point is, up until then, Randy, there's no Ben Russell ain't got these mass influx of people coming in every year. When was the last time Ben Russell had this mass influx of people coming in?
Well, I keep bringing up one that changed the program back in the day, and that was just because a coach came, and that was Bryant coming with Danny. I mean, until we got him at quarterback, I don't know that we were ever going to win any football games during that stretch. I know I'm being a little bit I'm exaggerating a little bit, but that was how important that move in was during that time. I mean, that's how good that kid was. So, I mean, no, we don't get them, and it's not. We're not in an area where it's easy to do that.
That's what the whole point of what we've said for an hour here.
Yeah.
You don't live in an area where there's 6 or 7 schools sandwiched in to a 10-mile radius. I mean, I know that's a little exaggerated.
But there are those schools, and it is happening more and more frequently in those communities. So at the end of the day, I know we're up at the top of the hour, and we can talk about this for hours upon hours because it's that important to high school sports here in the state, the decisions that are made in the next couple of weeks. The further I get down the line, the more that I see the private school side of the story, Brett, here. I truly
understand. I get it.
Because the private schools are in those communities. Those 3 main communities that Brett, let's just say 4 of them. Mobile, Huntsville, Montgomery, and Birmingham, Brett. Every one of those private schools, or a majority of the private schools in the state, are in those communities, correct?
Correct.
Well, they've got a dozen public schools within 15 miles of them that have kids following coaches and doing the things that probably wasn't happening as much 15, 20 years ago. But in this society, I think it's only going to happen more and more. Like it, dislike it. I don't know how you monitor it. I don't know how you keep up with it. But at the end of the day, and maybe you're the opposite way, Brett, but I truly see the private school side of the things here. I'm not saying that you turned a blind eye, but my point, let's go to one program real quick that I think is building one of the best programs in the country. Orange Beach softball. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
Orange Beach softball, if you leave them in the classification they're in, they may win 25 straight state championships in softball. Do you agree with that?
Oh,
they are amazing. They work at it. They've got the resources. They've got outstanding coaching. Got great travel organizations. But it's wild how good. And Brett went down and covered it. Have y'all been down there a couple of times to cover it?
We've done football and softball at Orange Beach.
But they just happen to be a public school. Well, I'm in agreement that let's see if they can win a 7A state championship, because I'm not sure that they can. If you're going to make the private schools that win umpteen championships over and over bump up, then I'm in agreement that should be the same. The competitive balance should be the same in all sports, whether you're public or private. Is that not fair?
I think it's fair.
I think it's exceptionally fair. If Ben Russell drops to 5A, let's put it that way, and wins 2 or 3 state championships in a row, and okay, bump us back up. Let's see how we compete up.
Well, it happened with St. Paul. I know it's private, but St. Paul's had to do it because they were dominating 5A so well. So
yeah. And so and for instance, if you go up and you're not as successful, then you come right back down after a couple of year cycle.
That's it.
So I don't see what the argument is. And, the one that I've used more than most, because I see these little girls start and where they are, is Montgomery Academy soccer. They have no use playing in 3A in soccer. They don't. Their boys just won the 7A state championship, and their girls are just as good as their girls are just as good as every other team in 7A too. Like, I don't know why you'd want to compete down there. You're not proving anything winning championships down below. But I think that in today's environment, Brett, that should transition as well to the public schools. That's the thing that I think the public schools should concede. is the competitive balance. We're all going to deal with competitive balance. If you're a basketball program that wins back-to-back state championships, Jackson, you got to move up and play in 5A next year. You can't sit down in 4A and win 10 in a row.
And it doesn't matter that you're losing 3 of the players that made you who you are. It just happens to be what it is.
Yeah.
So, all right, we got to get to the top of the hour break. We got a whole nother hour coming your way. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio, or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
At Central Alabama Community College, we provide a quality education that will set you up for success. Whether you're pursuing a degree or advancing your career with technical training, TAC offers premier programs at 4 campuses in Alexander City, Childersburg, Prattville, and Talladega. From industrial, electronics to machining, our students are prepared for the workforce or further education. At CAC, you'll enjoy vibrant campus life, exciting athletics, and personalized support, all at an affordable price. Your future starts here at CAC. Apply today.
Corey's Furniture Express, your expressway to savings. Come on, get on board. Corey's Furniture saves you more. We try harder in every way, so drive a little and save today. Corey's Furniture Express, your expressway to savings.
The all-new Winter Timber is now open, located right next to the Walmart Market across from the Auburn Mall. If the outdoors is your lifestyle, Winter Timber is your new headquarters. From rifles, ammo, and hunting supplies, camo, and all the outdoor essentials, they've got it in stock and ready for you. Winter Timber is here to serve Auburn, Opelika, and the entire Lake Martin area, and they'll make the drive worth it. For the best selection and the best service in outdoor gear, one name says it all: Winter Timber, the best in outdoor needs.
Hi, I'm Abby Guy, Vice President at Riverbank and Trust. They say that most banks offer the same products, but Riverbank offers something most can't: personal connection. We love getting to know our customers by name and making them feel special with every interaction. It's a feeling of warm hospitality you won't find anywhere else. Experience it for yourself.
Everyone to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Hour number 2. Appreciate all the text messages and all that we've got coming in talking about the show this morning. I think it's important. In 13 days, you're going to have some big time decisions going to shape high school athletics with this reclassification. And, you know, a lot revolves around the private schools being, whether they stay in or not, and then how they break down the classifications at that point. So there's a lot to be said there, and we'll continue to cover that as we move forward. If you got some more comments or whatever, do have some coming in here. Jumping in late, not sure if I'm on top of it, but if we're talking high school players moving to different schools, I think it boils down to the overall program and leaders. You have your teams that jump and win championship built from the ground up, but it's certain schools that always going to keep the wheel turning. It feels like championship or bust every year. Look, those are good points. And what we're talking about this morning and have been talking about for an hour is all the factors that are going into why this decision is going to be what it is. and not turning a blind eye and understanding the new landscape of the game and people in a transient society moving to where they want to go. Okay. And the term recruiting gets thrown around loosely. As soon as somebody moves somewhere, they go, well, they were recruited. Well, okay, if somebody moves from one place to the next to play for another school and you call that recruiting, that's fine. Now, I also know that there are people being coerced to come to play at certain schools, and that's going on too. And I'm not saying it's not, but this is not big one pie that you throw everything into. But the word recruiting gets thrown around for every move.
I just wanted to end, though, that I completely see the private schools side of things. And 10 years ago, I didn't. 10 years ago, I would have been on this program completely arguing that the private schools deserve to have that multiplier, need the competitive balance. It's not fair what they can do compared to us, blah, 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 blah. And I think I did it. And I conceded a couple of weeks ago with our good friend Rick Cleveland. Rick, if you're tuning in out there, we think the world of Rick. That you're right now, Rick, because things have changed. And when things change, you've got to change with the times. And I think the private schools are making a stance now, and it's for good reason. I'm just one opinion, though. I'm not saying I'm right. There's other opinions out there that think I'm totally wrong. But what my eyes tell me is what was happening 10 years ago is not the state that high school sports is in right now. It's not that way. And I don't see it going back in the opposite direction. So, and, you know, just to close out with Trey up at the top, you know, his son Caleb's an amazing athlete. He's in the Hoover program. So what Trey sees is his son's in the middle school at Hoover. They're undefeated, of course. They're playing a ton of ball games. They're outstanding. And his son's going to end up being a great high school player. But his point is Hoover's won 3 state championships in a row. But they aren't just sitting back saying, oh, my gosh, our main guy's headed off to UAB and our next guy's at Tennessee now. I mean, poor us, we're not going to be able to compete anymore. No, it's not the way that program's been built. They expect to win a championship year in and year out. And it's because they weren't necessarily only worrying about those couple of years they've got those great players. No, they're worrying about that middle school, which is going to end up having to be the great players. And if you keep looking down, you go, well, my middle school team's 17-0. I wonder how I'm going to be in a few years. I got an idea you're going to be pretty good in a few years if that's what you're building. So it's a good point he makes, and I enjoy keeping up with Caleb, so keep them coming, Trey.
You got some major coaching moves, some schools that have openings and some that have been filled, namely this week. Opelika with J.C. Chandler, with Coach Chandler coming in and from Catholic, and you know, he's an Opelika guy, so you know, so that's a big move there. And then now the Phoenix City job's open. So in that region, you've had a couple of big openings, and now we'll see, because Phoenix City and Thompson arguably have been the top 2 7A programs for a while. So when you have one of those open up, it's going to be major news. So all eyes on that Phoenix City job and seeing who will be the next coach over there, because they've had a good run of really good coaches. I mean, you know, when you talk about Jamie Dubose and Pat Nix, and I can keep going down the list, they've had some really good coaches over there.
Yeah, and that's a great job. And, you know, it's one of those 5 or 6 jobs that if they call on you, don't turn down an interview. I don't care where you are here in this state, Brett, because they're just going to produce talent on top of talent. And they're also in an area, the same as this first hour of conversation, they're in an area with the Columbus market, Russell County. They're in a 20 or 30-mile radius where great athletes going to find their way to you. If you build up the right program, with the right leader, they'll find their way to you, like it or dislike it. And so there's certain parts that's one we didn't bring up, Brett, but that's another one that's got great resources around them when it comes to talent, not only in the sport of football, but really in every sport. I mean, look at their girls' athletics over there. Unbelievable. Back-to-back national championships in flag football.
Yeah.
They ain't had a close ball game in 3 years. An amazing run there. And so I think everybody kind of gets caught up in just football, but You know, that's one thing that I'm proud of our group is if you get out and you broadcast these other sports, you see how important other sports are to a lot of communities, and you really get a really internal look. Brett and Faith especially do this. They get a close-up look week in and week out. We hope that you find our On the Road with AHSA show. They get a close-up look at Orange Beach High School and why is their softball team nationally ranked and one of the best in the country. And it's not a miracle. It's great facilities, great athletes, great development, great coaching all the way around. And I enjoy watching those shows based off of, I wonder what they're doing that others aren't, Brett. And I think that's the one thing that y'all present with that show that a lot of others can't.
Yeah, I've been to places I didn't think I'd ever go. I mean, I've been to Spring Garden, Alabama. I mean, and if you don't have Ace Austin, I would have never traveled to Spring Garden. I would have never had any reason to be at Spring Garden. So anyway, with that being said, you know, that's the beautiful thing about being able to travel and go do the things that you do, and see this and bring attention to these schools that otherwise wouldn't get it. And so that's what we love to do on the HSA side. And again, we've embraced that over the years, and you know, we've built this program, this On the Road show, that's backed by the Alabama Community College System. It's backed by the Alabama Department of Transportation. We couldn't do the show without either one of those. And, you know, we've added that mix of the community college. Now, when we go around to these communities, we go visit the local community college and talk about what great things they have going on, because the majority of these kids we're covering in these programs are going to end up at one of these community colleges. It's just a natural fit all the way around. So, yeah, I mean, you look at it from that standpoint, and yeah, we'll have this week. I think I mentioned it earlier. We're going to Pisgah to cover the girls team, and then we'll drift down to Gadsden City and cover the boys. So we've got some really good shows coming up, and we'll be in the Wiregrass for the first time. We get text and DMs all the time. When you come into our school? When you come into our school? I love that, because that means people are watching, and it means that it's an impactful show, and it means that, you know, hey, we want you to come see what we're doing over here, and I love that. And so we try to give attention. It doesn't matter what class you're in, whatever. If you got something going on great in your community, we want to come cover it. So it's like economic development has become athletic development in some of these communities. It's just the truth. You know, you've got unbelievable facilities, a reason for people to travel to your community to play in tournaments. All of these things go hand in hand together, and marketing these programs is more important than ever, because you want to give families a reason to come and live in your community. And if that reason is athletics, then so be it. They're going to make decisions. There's worse reasons to make a decision to move to a community. Right. So you better be one of them that they want to move to. I'll just put it that way. No doubt. All right, let's take a break here on the show. Stay tuned. More to come here on the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
When you want quality, selection, price, superior financing, and a pain-free buying experience, look no further than Sons Automotive Group of Montgomery and Auburn. Sons of Montgomery offers the best selection of Kias, Chryslers, Dodges, Jeeps, and Ram trucks. Conveniently located on Eastern Boulevard, Sons Ford of Auburn is the region's Ford volume dealer. And when you shop at any Sons location, they will maximize all incentives and financing options for anyone's credit. Whether Kia, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram in Montgomery, or Ford in Auburn, Sons Automotive treats you like family because they are family driven.
If you're tired of the same old and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City. Adams Motorsports of Montgomery knows it's the best time to ride. Right now, get the best deals on all of our Suzuki and Kawasaki street bikes, side-by-sides, four-wheelers, and dirt bikes. Adams Motorsports has it all, and our inventory is vast. Get out there, ride the streets and trails, and let Adams Motorsports make your pleasure our business, with family customer service and service after the sale. It's time to ride, so come see us on Eastern Boulevard in Montgomery or online at adamsmotorsports.com.
Inspired by the bold bison, Southern Union students blaze new trails every single day. They press forward knowing their SU education will lead them to success. Affordable, accessible, and locally unparalleled. Whether you're transitioning to a university or launching straight into a lucrative career, a degree from SU SEC can help you blaze your path. 3 locations, dedicated faculty and staff, endless possibilities. It's all waiting for you at Southern Union. It's time to venture forward. Register today.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.
There's only one clear choice in the Lake Martin area for plumbing, heating, and air. That's All Clear Plumbing and Air. Our professionally trained technicians offer full service repair and installation on all major brands. From drips to water heaters, thermostats to entire air conditioning and heating systems, and everything in between. Our fast, reliable, and guaranteed top-notch customer service will keep you informed and up to speed through the entire process. Call us today or look for us on Facebook and Instagram at All Clear Plumbing and Air, 256-496-2056. License number 19172.
Back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. About 45 minutes left in the show today. We appreciate JR's. We appreciate Sunshine Heating and Air. We'll dive into the college side now with about 45 minutes left, and we got to start with the 2 playoff games. I thought, Glenn said he's got 3 tickets for sale. You're going to be set up pretty well if you got 3 tickets to sell. I wish I had 3 or 4 tickets to sell to this game. Indiana is the losingest program in Power 4 history. They went from the losingest program to being on the cusp. This story's unreal. And, I've heard some Alabama fans go, well, we hired Kalen DeBoer when we had a chance to hire Kirk Cignetti. Now, first of all, let's flash back. This man's leaving James Madison. Is there any Alabama fan? I know he was an analyst at Alabama and all that. Let's be honest with ourselves. Who was out there clamoring that, we've just got to hire Kirk Cignetti as the next guy? No, if you said that, if you come on here and comment that, you're lying, and you know you are. So I'm calling you out. Now that he has gotten to where he is at Indiana, and it's like, well, man, he's the imps of Nick Saban. I don't know why in the heck we went to hire. We should have hired. Woulda, coulda. Hindsight's 2020. I don't think anybody saw Kirk Cignetti leaving James Madison going to Indiana as some massive earthquake move in college football. Did you? Was that on your bingo card?
No, I think that we all are eating crow based off of our comments last year. Me, you, Luke, all of the above. Any talking head that's out there.
Now, prior to that, in defense of all of us, Indiana had outside of one team on their schedule. They played 2 teams on their schedule that were worth a darn, and they got the hell beat out of them in both of them. And everybody was like, do they deserve to get in the playoff because they ain't played anybody? And we talked about that. You've had multiple discussions about, strength of schedule should count. You should be able to, that should matter, and it should matter. But we had no idea what Kirk Cignetti was building and where they were going. We thought last year was a flash in the pan, and they kind of cut corners to get where they were because they had not beaten anybody. They had 11 wins, but the 2 quality teams on their schedule, they got blown out. Well, this year, completely different story. They've proven themselves. They went on the road and beat Oregon early in the season. So everybody's like, well, dismiss the fact they hadn't played anybody now. And then you move on through the season and you see what they've done, and it's amazing. But my whole point in saying all that is nobody knew Kirk Cignetti was going to emerge and be this. I mean, nobody did.
Well, the point I was going to make is I give all of us a pass because up until that
100%.
point, a team like that coming from out of nowhere to really be able to compete was not going to happen. There are just too many uphill battles that you've got to fight to get to the level of, say, where Georgia, Alabama, and a couple of other programs have gotten to from a talent standpoint and a coaching standpoint. I mean, it's just you couldn't fathom that a team that has always been that bad at football, because you take a couple of years ago, we've got programs where the rich are about to get more rich than they've ever been. And that number of maybe 15 programs here in the country that can actually win a national championship is going to dwindle down to maybe 5 to 8.
It's been opposite. It's been the opposite.
It's been the opposite. I didn't see that. So you've got to give all of us a pass because I think
the parity has increased in the sport.
It has, and that part is wonderful for the sport. If there is some part of you that in your blue blood nature watches those Indiana fans in those stands last night, and not have a little passion around college athletics.
What about the Ole Miss fans too? Look at them.
My point is, like, it's great for other teams to have a chance. Now, hell, if you're Alabama and you don't want to see anybody else get a chance to win a championship other than you, then I guess you can come on and say that I hate it to see these other programs get. But I'm saying that I think it's wonderful that the Indiana fan base and the alumni base, by the way, that Justin just mentions here, the largest alumni base living in the country, 805,000 alumni.
And I think
they're not going to find a way
there somewhere.
They're going to find their $4,000 to $6,000 to get in that.
I want to flash over to another topic in this Oregon program. Phil Knight talking about money. Nobody's got more money. Nobody's got more marketing power than Oregon, but with Nike backing them. They've been trying to buy a championship for 20 years. They can't do it, man. This is 2 years in a row they've had their dang doors blown off. I'm talking about blown slap. Ohio State blew their doors off last year, and they were number one in the country. Now they fast forward to this year, and they run up on Indiana, and they just it just shows you, like, yes, you can put yourself in position with the money and stuff like that. But right now, Oregon, they're an anomaly. I mean, they've been to the playoffs multiple times. We beat them in a national championship game in 2010. That's the closest they've been, by the way. You know, they actually got in the game and played for it. They can't get over the hump, man. They just can't. And like Dan Lanning, he's like, but man, he has gotten dusted 2 years in a row, man, in the playoffs. So at some point in time, it starts to become mental with your program.
Yeah, maybe. But, I'll take the opposite side of that as an Auburn fan. Shit, I just pray that we could get dusted like that in a playoff run year in and year out.
Yeah, this is not about Auburn. I'm not bringing this up to do that. I'm saying that Oregon, nobody spent more money and nobody has said more about Phil Knight. I'm not dying without seeing us win a national championship. And he's been saying it for 20 years. And nobody's had more ammo, marketing, money-wise, uniform-wise, all the trinkets, all the things that appeal to the kids nowadays to draw them in. I mean, hell, they came into the state and got name offered. And you go they get players wherever they want to go get them. And they can't put it together. I'm not bashing them to death. I'm just saying at some point it becomes mental. No, I mean, I'm with you. I mean, we've got our own problems. We can talk about Auburn's problems from now to the end of time. I'm saying Oregon in a bubble, nobody's done more and spent more money and done more things marketing than they have to not have gotten to the top yet.
All right, well, let me ask. In any of those years, did you feel like they were the best team?
Thought they were last year.
You thought they were the best team last year?
And so did everybody else in the country. They were number one forever.
Yeah.
And they're number one in the Rose Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And Ohio State comes out there, and what they get beat? It was 41-3 or something. And then they ended up scoring a few touchdowns and make it close. But I mean, they were getting skull drugged, man. It's like they're the number one team in the country, and you just wait and there's a game, they're going to show up, and they didn't show up.
Is there a part of watching their games that is a deficiency that they have that makes you think that they can't get over the hump?
I don't know, because they've had Cristobal, they've had Chip Kelly, they've had all these coaches, and they've gotten them close.
To me, it feels like when they play the best teams in the countries, the two that I brought up and some other teams, they can't win the line of scrimmage. And I don't know if that has something to do with the area of the country that they're in from a recruiting standpoint. I don't know the answer to that. Yeah. But I feel like that's part of it.
And Trey's saying the same thing I'm saying. He's like, I thought about it last night. He said, what's the reason Oregon can't get over the hump? They've got everything that you could imagine. There's nothing they long for. The only thing I think is a disadvantage for Oregon is their geographic location.
That's what I'm asking.
But it hadn't stopped them from going out and getting some of the best players in the country from wherever they want to go get them, because they throw so much money and so much marketing power, shoe deals, and everything else at these kids. They go, man, I just can't. And their facilities are phenomenal. These kids tour. We got to get the break. These kids tour. And they come back going, God, I got to go up there. So anyway, let's get the break. We come back. Got a lot more to come here on the Saturday Sports Countdown.
Along with fall, there's huge falling prices at Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor for all your tractor, implements, and riding lawnmower needs. All remaining Spartan mowers must go for next year's models. And besides the year-end low prices, you can still get 0% interest up to 60 months. Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor also has a huge selection of Mahindra tractors of all sizes with full implements packages that range from harvest or just getting your hunting site prepped. Mahindra also has up to 84 months 0% financing. So now's the time. Score big with the Lake's exclusive Spartan and Mahindra dealer. Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor, Highway 280 across from the Home Depot.
L&M Pawn and Gun, located in the USA Factory Stores in Opelika, is East Alabama and West Georgia's complete gun, tactical, and pawn shop. It invites the region to shop over 500 firearms in stock, on the floor, and ready for sale at the market's best values. At L&M Pawn and Gun, we specialize in all tactical guns, equipment, and parts, including AK-47 and AR-15s. Specialized parts for tactical guns as well as suppressors and other parts you can't find anywhere. L&M Pawn and Gun has it all in the USA Factory Stores in Opelika, or shop online, lmpawnandgun.com.
A fresh start begins at home. This new year, Dixie Electric Plumbing and Air is bringing comfort your way with maintenance inspections starting at just $29 and installations as low as $50 a month. Start the year right with Dixie.
Craving pizza done right? Come to Lake Martin Pizza, where flavor meets the lake, with 2 locations, 63 South in Alexander City and Highway 49 South in Dadeville. Grab a 14 or 18-inch specialty pizza or build your own masterpiece. Go half and half, your way. In a hurry, stop in for our lunch specials. Hot, fresh pizza by the slice, served daily. We've got more than just pizza. Try our fresh salads, cheesy breadsticks, garlic knots, and sweet cinnamon twists. Lake days, game nights, or family dinners, Lake Martin Pizza hits the spot every time.
I'm Joseph Dean with Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation in Dadeville. We're located at 16797 Highway 280, which is on the corner of 280 and 49 North. With an on-site crematory in Opelika and a cemetery in Tallapoosa County, we are a full-service funeral home. To get in touch with us, feel free to come by or call us, 256-750-0381. And for any other questions, you can visit the website at lakemartinfuneralhome.com.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
God.
I'm in the gym today, so it's no problem for me.
Yeah, unless the roof leaks. Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. A couple more segments left on the show today. The point spread, 7.5. Indiana, saw it come out last night right after the game. I think it's going to be a good football game. I think, with it being Miami in Miami, add something to that. And it actually gives Indiana a challenge, I think, them having to travel down. Now, Indiana will have a bunch of fans down there. There's no question. But with it being at Miami, and it's just the storyline's great and all the way around. And, it's just, when you look at Fernando Mendoza, man, it's hard not to like that guy because he's like a little kid, man. And, like, he's so respectful of the other teams. And, he's just so thankful for the opportunity. And there's nothing arrogant about him. I mean, it's just fun to pull for somebody like that. So yeah, looking forward to that and kind of seeing how that game. It'll be a fun, exciting game, and then we'll turn back to the for a moment in time there for 3 or 4 hours. We'll enjoy that game, and then we'll jump right back in the hell of college day-to-day operations of the portal and the NIL and all that crap. That's what's made this so refreshing for a lot of people is that, they're not about star rankings. They're not about anything, and they're just lining up and whipping these teams like Oregon and these teams that are just loaded with top-ranked talent and all the marketing money and all this kind of stuff. And it's just, I think it's a breath of fresh air in a toxic environment that we're all living in right now.
Well, Miami too. Miami's playing football the right way. That's why I love watching them play. I mean, they are so physical, Brett. They're so well coached. They win the lines of scrimmage. It just feels old school. And then you've got two upperclassmen at quarterback that don't seem to make the key mistakes that cost you the ball game, like you saw with Oregon last night.
Right.
Both have been winners wherever they've been. It is refreshing. And hey, look, the ratings may not show this, but the rest of the country that's not an Ohio State or an Alabama or a Georgia fan, we're relishing in this because we're sick and tired of watching y'all play for championships. It just gets disgustingly old. And you can say, well, you're just an outlier on that, Randy. I don't know. I don't think I am. I think that there are more people that are excited to see a Miami program that hasn't been anywhere near to this level for 22 or 23 years, and an Indiana program that's never been at this level. I think the parity is a great thing. I didn't see it coming. I thought it would go the opposite way, but we got way more parity now than we had 10 years ago. Did you see it coming that way, Brett? Did anybody out there see the day and age where the rich get richer and you can pay players that all of a sudden
you just stockpile whatever you wanted for those programs, but it ain't. Well, what you're finding out is the Texas, I go back to a comment that Jason Caldwell and I had a conversation with a couple of years ago. And he didn't say Indiana, but he said Purdue, which happens to be in the same. I mean, he said the Purdues of the world, those type teams with this new landscape are going to be able to go in there and take a player from you that otherwise they would have never had a shot at getting before.
Good point.
And I kind of dismissed that and said, well, but Indiana, again, has proven that they can be strategic. I don't think anybody saw them doing what they're doing this year, and they don't have a bunch of star ratings on their roster, but the chemistry of that team and how it's built. But the Texas Tech's probably the best example. Texas Tech football ain't ever really done anything. I mean, they've had some good players come through the program.
They've had some great quarterbacks.
Yeah, but I mean, for the most part, and Crabtree at receiver and stuff. But outside of that, man, ain't nobody talking about Texas Tech football every year. Now they're going to, because this booster has said it don't matter what the heck happens. We're not going to be second to anybody and getting who. I mean, he just went and dropped $5 million on a guy that I'm not sure. I don't know what he's worth, but I mean, I guess he was rated the best on the market at the time. His numbers weren't even as good as Byron Brown's. We may have gotten a steal for what we got Byron Brown for, but this guy goes and gets Sorsby out of the portal and pays him $5 million. And, don't be surprised if SMU continues their upward climb. These teams that have been dead for a long time now are relevant, maybe for the first time, or relevant again. And so It's just what we've seen in college basketball.
I was about to go there.
It's just what we've seen in college basketball.
And exactly what we're seeing from Auburn basketball this year. It's the reason I defend Stephen Pearl right now. If Auburn gives him the money, gives Bruce the money, I don't know that they didn't give him the money, but let's just say if Auburn had another $5 million to spend on this basketball team, they could have added 3 pieces, and one of them being Yoxel from UAB. I think he's getting, 2.3 to play at Michigan?
Something like that.
I think Auburn offered him $1 million. If Auburn offered him another $1.5 million and paid $2.5 million, we'd have probably all been up in arms. But here we are halfway through the season, and Auburn's mediocre and Michigan's undefeated. And I would guess Michigan's roster's $7 to $8 million more than Auburn's. Is that a fair assessment, Brett?
Maybe, yeah. I mean,
it may only be 5. I'm only asking if Auburn had another 5. If Auburn spent 2.5 and 1.25 on the next 2, and you got another big, and you got Yoxel, what would this team look like? It'd look a lot better than it does right now. So, and currently Auburn's playing 6 or 7 players major minutes.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a big ask for those 6 or 7 players. It's a lot of pressure to put on them, and so I give that program a pass.
I mean, I definitely think you can't just judge his whole ability to coach in 1 year, but I do think, and I've said this, I mean, this is not a terrible team, and you should not have lost a 16-point lead at home to a Texas A&M team that I think when the dust settles is not going to be one of the top teams in this league. I may be wrong, and I think
they're ahead of schedule with Bucky. I think
they are, but
I think he will
not.
be
I
one
was
of
there, and I saw that team up close and personal.
I agree.
There's nothing dynamic. They have no star playmaker. They're undersized, and no Auburn doesn't lose 16-point leads inside Neville Arena late in the second half. I'm sorry, and that again, a lot will remain to be seen, and you got to give the guy a chance, but. Auburn's staring down the barrel of 0-3 if they don't figure out something today, because they got a really good basketball team with a really good point guard coming in and a much better team in Arkansas. Doesn't mean Auburn can't rally and win the game today, but it's got to start today. You get 0-3, and then you got to go on the road Tuesday and play Missouri, who's kicking everybody's butt right now. You're staring at 0-4. Because they just went to Rupp and beat Kentucky. They beat Florida the game before.
That is a program that is getting coached up.
They are.
When I watch Missouri, they play harder than anybody.
Well, and again, I mean, that's what you get week in and week out in this league. So, look, there's no the honeymoon doesn't last very long. And all everybody said was, well, the positive thing is they kept the whole coaching staff and I got the break. We're going to get there, brother. The coaching staff staying together and the continuity, and you kept, your best player and Tahad, and you go out and get all these other guys, and you try to keep it as congruent as possible. But when you start losing the way Auburn's been losing, and if it continues, people stop. They go, okay, honeymoon's over. We got to figure this out.
Well, Brett, that depth factor was a key to losing that game the other night.
Well, I don't know what to say on that, because I can tell you before the season started and going into Pro Day, when I was at Pro Day, and I sent y'all a message, I gave y'all a play-by-play, and every beat writer sitting beside me felt the same way. This team probably was going to be deeper than last year's team. Now, we weren't saying it was well, and I don't know whose fault that is.
They're not there.
No, but they were.
And whoever said that to you, who said that?
You mean what? Who said what?
Who said this Auburn team that I watch and I look at that bench is deeper than
Stephen Pearl said it, Randy. Go back and go to media days.
But that is the biggest wishful thinking coach speak that I've ever
No,
been.
it's not, because Auburn didn't play but 6 or 7 guys coming down the stretch last year. He said it at media. I was there at media days. I was there at Pro Day. That's what he said. I didn't say it. Every beat writer was agreeing. We were watching Pro Day. Who didn't think Elijah Freeman and SWA and all those guys weren't going to be a better depth piece than what Auburn had? I mean,
We played 5 players 20-plus minutes of them.
I'm not saying what Auburn just played. I'm saying before the season started.
I don't.
He said that he was going to play 10 or 11.
Looked at that team and thought it was a deeper team than last year.
Randy, you only played 7 guys coming down the stretch last year.
The 7 or 8 that you had, though, last year.
5 plus 2 is 2 bench players. You're looking at 11 guys. You're looking at a more athletic, more versatile team than talent-wise on paper than what you had last year. I'm not comparing them to the Final Four team. That was a much better team. But Stephen Pearl stood up in front of everybody and said, we've got a deeper team top to bottom. We've got to have a deeper team. We've got to play 10 or 11 guys to have a chance. Well, I know that. That's exactly my point. And I don't know whose fault that is. It can only be one person's fault. If you got that and you said that, and then all of a sudden you come back and you're only playing 6 guys and everybody's dragging the ground. I don't know why you don't play. Why is Magwood? I told y'all what Magwood was doing in the pro day. And y'all were like, man, this is going to be awesome. Every beat writer beside me was like, this dude shoot the lights out. And SWA was showing out. SWA played 40-something minutes the other night. Randy didn't score a point. How the hell do you do that? I'd go out there and score a point. I'd sling one up in the rafters and rattle around and fall. If I played 44 minutes in a game, including overtime, I don't know why they're not getting the productions, my question. I mean, that's it. He had to rely on more people this year because you don't have Janai Broome. You don't have Dylan Cardwell. You don't have those guys that were built to be like marathon guys in a game. And we had to rely on more, and he's not getting the production out of his bench. And you're undersized too. That's another thing. That's a combination. That's not a good combination. All right, we're way past break. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
Thunderbolt Lightfoot at Oscar's Cafe on Highway 49 South in Dadeville, Alabama is looking to see you today. Now, let me tell you, they got great food. They've always had great food all these years. Now, they still got that atmosphere. They still got that service. They still cater. Let me stop right there. 15 to 415 they can handle. So give them a call today at Oscar's, Highway 49 South in Dadeville. 256-825-4827.
Hillaby Towers is an affordable senior citizens community located in Alexander City on Highway 22 East. Spacious 1-bedrooms are available now. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today to find out more information on Alexander City's best kept secret. 256-329-0552. That's Hillaby Towers in Alexander City.
2025 RVs are here. Be the first to see the latest and greatest from your favorite manufacturers and lock in special show pricing at your local Camping World.
At C&T Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Elk City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs, or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell out the word "and."
Inspired by the bold bison, Southern Union students blaze new trails every single day. They press forward knowing their SU education will lead them to success. Affordable, accessible, and locally unparalleled. Whether you're transitioning to a university or launching straight into a lucrative career, a degree from SU SEC can help you blaze your path. 3 locations, dedicated faculty and staff, endless possibilities. It's all waiting for you at Southern Union. It's time to venture forward. Register today.
S&S Tire is the #1 tire and service dealer in the entire Lake Martin region for reasons. First, S&S works on all makes and models, including imports, and our advanced trained ASE master tech can pinpoint and correct problems before they happen. S&S Tire sells by volume, and that allows us to demand the best price on all major brands, including Michelin, Goodyear, and Toyo. Most importantly, S&S Tire and Auto lives, works, worships, and interacts in our home community. S&S Tire, #1 for many reasons, but most importantly, #1 for your satisfaction.
2025 RVs are here. Be the first to see the latest and greatest from your favorite manufacturers and lock in special show pricing at your local Camping World.
I just see a bunch of individual pods, and that's the thing that Stevens brought up. We got to be better at distributing the basketball. We got to be more fluid on offense. We got to quit playing one-on-one. Let me break my guy down, and let me come down here and fire up a wild shot that, I just don't see a flow a lot of times. And, good defense really kind of sparks good offense. I think we're back here. Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. This will be a very short segment because we got to get caught back up because we only have one more segment coming up. But talking about this, I just think that, you're kind of at a crucial part of the season. I hate to say it 3 games into SEC play, but Auburn really needs to figure out a way to get a win today because, like I said on Gary Harris's show yesterday, the bigger the hole you dig early, the harder it is to come out of this thing.
Yeah, and the SEC is really good. I watched the Bama-Vandy game the other night, bro. That was a great basketball game, by the way.
But another proof positive, you take LeBaron Fallon off Alabama's team, they're nowhere near the team they are either.
Look, Alabama feels like they're structured a lot like Auburn.
They are, I think.
Very questionable decisions with post-play. Decisions by both of these programs. I mean, I think the pieces on the perimeter could win in a lot of places if you added 2 more depth pieces and one really good player, maybe a wing or something on both of these teams. It's not that they're bad teams. I'm very hopeful that both teams can find a way to 10 wins in the SEC and make the tournament again. I think that would be a good year for both Auburn and Alabama. But that's not where we've been. But Vandy on the opposite end, boy, Vandy's got depth. Duke Miles goes out. By the way, love seeing Duke Miles play. Brett and I have called a number of league games back in the day where Duke Miles was the best player on the court. And that system that Bucky had at Mountain Brook and then Robert E. Lee implementing that system into their play, Brett, that was some wonderful, wonderful basketball in the state of Alabama. And Duke Miles was a catalyst for that defensively with the way that he played. So it's great to see him have the success that he's having. But he goes out, fouls out, there's no problem. They got another point guard that goes in, scores 29 points, and I know that he's one of their key scorers to go along with Duke. But, Brett, they've got depth pieces in the post. They shoot it exceptionally well from the perimeter, and this has been put together in a short term.
It has.
So it's kind of at the end of the day, you got to question the decisions that you made compared to what others have made. And you want to talk about a program in the SEC that's on the ups. That's Vandy. Vandy's got it going on right now, buddy.
No, well, Vandy, there's no question about it.
They marketed that thing well. It's sitting there in a thriving community that people want to gravitate to, and it's impressive what's going on with Vandy.
Yeah, I mean, they got all the momentum in the world. They just took a player from Georgia. I mean, get the top quarterback to commit to Georgia, and then they go in and take him away, and it's because of everything that's going on in the field around Nashville and all that. Vanderbilt's finally, it's like they've had this gold mine sitting over here, and they finally decided to go over there and take a pick and start hammering away, and they finally struck gold and everything, football, basketball. Now, again, they're going to have to prove that they can keep doing it in football without Pavia, and we'll see. I mean, I think they've got a lot of momentum.
But if you go and get the number 1 rated high school recruit at quarterback.
But that guy may not be Pavia, though.
He may not be, but my point is, you put the piece in place to at least give you a chance.
You never would have ever gotten that guy if you hadn't built what you got to this point.
Yeah.
All you're doing is you're giving it your best shot for sure. All right, up against the final break of the show. Stay tuned. One final segment right after this.
If you're tired of the same old, and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
The all-new Winter Timber is now open. Located right next to the Walmart Market across from the Auburn Mall. If the outdoors is your lifestyle, Winter Timber is your new headquarters. From rifles, ammo, and hunting supplies, camo, and all the outdoor essentials, they've got it in stock and ready for you. Winter Timber is here to serve Auburn, Opelika, and the entire Lake Martin area. And they'll make the drive worth it. For the best selection and the best service in outdoor gear, one name says it all. Winter Timber, the best in outdoor needs.
Bundle your home and auto and save money with State Farm's personal price plan. Contact State Farm agent Ron Carroll today at 256-378-6631 or visit him on Highway 280 in Childersburg. Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer availability. Eligibility may vary.
Russell Medical Total Fitness is ready. Are you? Do you have arthritis? They can help. Pilates are for everyone. Ask them about the Silver Sneakers program. Get moving in a class now, or if you prefer, personal training on land and water are available. They have invested in new equipment for you. Invest in yourself with a dedicated and knowledgeable staff. Call today, 256-329-7623.
Satterfield Outdoor Living is Lake Martin's trusted friend for your outdoor land and leisure needs. We're the region's authorized Skag mower dealer for residential and commercial lawns and offer all the small engine accessories you need with top lines of Steel, Echo, Shindaiwa, Husqvarna, and Metabo products that can tame any landscape. Satterfield is also your grill headquarters with Big Green Egg Grill, and our pros service everything in-house and back up all sales. Get the Satterfield Outdoor difference on Highway 280 right across from Tallapoosa Ford.
Zaxby's birthday cake milkshakes are back. Just in time for Zaxby's 35th birthday, so they're gifting you half-off handcrafted milkshakes. Happy birthday to us all. Zaxby's handcrafted milkshakes. Who's got the sauce?
Zaxby's. Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Just a joke.
They're a thing of the past, aren't they?
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Eating and Air. Yeah, like nobody, it's almost comical that you bring up somebody going to class. You're like, huh? Hell, I mean, there's 3 or 4 guys we're following. They've been in a different school every day, taking pictures and posing and, traveling around, jet setting, Fortune 500 life. Class started this week. Nobody cares. I mean, and don't even at some point you got to move. Not only are you got to figure out where you're going to go, you got to pack all your crap up and move it to wherever you're going and get settled in. We just went ahead as a society and said, let's go ahead and make this thing a full 3-ring circus. Let's go past the 1 ring and the 2, make it a full 3-ring circus. Because hell, Cam Coleman sniffed a book. Malcolm, has he seen inside of he's been on the world tour for the last couple of weeks. He's been at A&M, Kentucky, Arkansas.
Well, I guess you're just not in classes, are you, though? I mean, if you
you ain't even registered anywhere. I mean, they're not even enrolled anywhere at this point.
So I guess that I guess that doesn't matter. I mean, I guess you just take a semester off. And Nort, when's the last time you heard
That's true. You
somebody?
can't take a semester off to be able to be eligible to participate in spring practice. You got to be enrolled. You can't take a semester off and go out there and suit up. And go. Oh,
so your point is you're just going to start classes 3 weeks to a month.
Just whenever the hell you get there. Don't matter if the teacher's been through a month of economics. Well, it's all right. I'll jump in. I'll jump on in. Wherever. It makes it more obvious of how much this is a calamity. There's no other way to spin it. Justin said, you don't think Alabama's going through absolute checkbook? Cam Coleman, they're struggling right now, especially with this running back visiting Texas. Yeah, they've missed on, look, this is the way of the world, man. I think that's the thing Alabama fans have to come to grips with, and other schools. What you've done in the past and the clout that you've had and the things that you've done don't really necessarily win out with all these guys anymore. They just don't. And, what you've done and what you built in the past is great, but it don't carry a lot of weight with these kids in this world now. I mean, like going back to Kentucky in basketball, Randy. I mean, the history and all the lore of playing in Rupp, they don't care. Don't matter to them.
I think it all comes down to that leader now, who the coach is and what they can do for them and can they get them to the league. And that's probably it's always been part of the story, but the ability to just up and move and not lose a year, that's the change that I feel like is, if you were to ask me what's the most important change to clean this transfer portal deal up, and that's one transfer to play, second transfer you got to sit a year.
Yeah,
that'd clean it up right there immediately.
Let me get out for TV, and we'll stay up for about 1 minute to close out. So, again, we appreciate everybody that watches every single Saturday. We'll be back with you next Saturday for more of the Saturday Sports Countdown. I hope you have a great weekend, everybody.
Bucks Island is your boating headquarters. Are you ready to hit the water and go boating this summer? Bucks Island has all kinds of boats, with one sure to fit exactly what you want. Fishing boats, sport boats, pontoon boats, and all with low monthly payments. Call 1-800-I'm-READY. Bucks Island Service Department experts are also here for you to keep your boat in top running condition. Call 1-800-I'm-READY. Don't be left standing on the bank this summer. Visit online at bucksisland.com and don't buy a boat till you get a Bucks quote.
If you listen carefully, you'll hear the roads of Alabama calling. And Sarah Honda has your answer. Serving you for over 40 years with one of the largest Honda and pre-owned inventories in the state and the Sarah Promise. Our best deal when you buy or trade, a 72-hour exchange policy, a no-hassle trade-in promise. Written offers are good for 7 days. And our best service promise. Our factory-certified technicians help keep your vehicle running smoothly. That's why Alabama can be yours to discover in a new vehicle from Sarah Honda in Sylacauga.
Farmers and Merchants Bank of Dadeville is building a foundation of strength and trust in the entire Lake Martin community. With our modern branch in Dadeville and caring, attentive staff, we've established Farmers and Merchants Bank as a reliable friend to your banking needs. Whether it's just a savings or checking account or any commercial, auto, or real estate loan, Farmers has local decision-making to build a relationship with you and your needs. Farmers and Merchants Community Bank. Strength, service, community.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.
Wintertime in the South is mild compared to other parts of the country, but we still tend to be less active and spend more time indoors. Show your heart some love this winter by getting it checked out at the UAB Heart and Vascular Clinic at Russell Medical. I'm Dr. Kevin Sublett, and our entire clinic is dedicated to keeping your heart healthy. We're right here in your own community and backed by the knowledge and expertise of UAB Medicine. Make an appointment today by calling 256-234-2644 or visit uabmedicine.org/heartrussell.
Ivy Creek Healthcare is excited to showcase their newest clinic, Ivy Creek Family Care of Lake Martin, located conveniently near the main entrance to Stillwater's on Highway 49 South in Dadeville. Ivy Creek Family Care of Lake Martin is an urgent care with walk-ins welcome. Whether you need lab work, x-rays, or immediate care, find comfort here at Ivy Creek Family Care of Lake Martin. Ivy Creek, here when you need us most. 256-827-5379.